Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we're going to have a rehouse today of another very popular Brachypelma. Now, as we said a couple of videos back, actually, when we've done some of our other brackies, we are going to keep just a couple of the individual brackies. And the main reason I sort of got out of them was purely down to the hair kicking. They irritate the hell out of me nowadays. So I sort of like got away from them, but every time I sort of see one, I'm like, they are really pretty. So we decided we are just going to keep a couple of each. And what we're going to do today is the Brachypelma Klaasi. Now the Klaasi is said to be probably the most endangered of the Brachypelma at the moment. So these guys, like all the Brachypelmas, are on the Appendix 2 CITES, so they do have protection now, and it's something that we need to sort of try and do a bit more. Hence why we're going to keep a couple. We are going to try and breed them. Now they're not the easiest things to breed. Many of the brackies are a little bit stubborn, shall we say, or is it the fact that we just don't really know the ins and outs of what's going on? So they're not bred consistently in the hobby. So it's something we need to play around with and try and learn a little bit more about. So we have got our female. She's absolutely stunning in here now. So we're going to set this up. They're a very basic environment for them. It really doesn't have to be anything special at all. One of the reasons that the Brachypelmas have ended up in so much trouble in the wild state is through over collecting, and the reason they have been over collected is because the hobby has literally adopted the Brachypelmas as one of the best sort of beginner spiders available, and they really are, because they are so hardy. They're so easy to look after, and as a beginner you can make all sorts of mistakes with these guys and you'll get away with it because they are literally so hardy. They are one of the easiest things in the world to look after. So now another thing that's interesting, one of the things that we've mentioned many times now with the brackies and the Anaphipelmas and all of these different ones, is the fact that much of the literature says that they are slow growers. They're slow to molt out. They're basically slow at doing everything. These guys can live 20+ years for a female, and although, you know, a lot of the old literature and everything is stating that, you know, these guys are so slow, if you keep them warmer, we have shown that in actual fact they're sort of moderately fast growing spider. You know, they really are. We found our slings and our young juvies, they grow really well. They grow quickly, and this is down to the fact that we do keep them that little bit warmer, and they seem to appreciate it. Bearing in mind these guys coming in from Mexico, so they actually do like a fair bit of warmth anyway. But we've got that old habit in the hobby of this sort of like, you know, if I'm warm you're warm sort of rubbish, and yeah, it just doesn't work like that. I don't think so anyway. That's my opinion. I don't think it really works. I think they really benefit from having some extra warmth, and I think our spiders do far better because of it. So what we're doing now, we'll be sitting there thinking, why the hell is he putting a piece of moss inside this enclosure? Now these guys are found in quite a varied situation, to the point where they can be quite dry, almost deserty sort of conditions, but these are also found in almost like subtropical conditions where it is actually quite damp. So we want to give a certain amount of humidity. We're looking at sort of 50 to 60% humidity for our brackies, and we do this with all of them. Our humoris and things like that, they'll be a little bit drier, but not a lot. So you'll be surprised. So what we do is we put a piece of moss in like this, and then we can keep this. It's just like overflowing your water bowl. It's exactly the same sort of principle as that. So we can literally keep it nice and moist. This will give us that humidity, and they do appreciate it. For many years, ain't got a lot going in it, has it? For many years, the brackies, the Anaphelmas, all of these so-called deserty style spiders, because they've come from hot, dry countries, them countries aren't dry all over. You know, many of them have quite a high humidity at different points during the day and obviously at night time. So what we're going to do, we're going to soak this piece of moss. It's very dry when we put it in, so it can actually substantiate quite a fair bit. Remember also what we've said in the past. We can get away with putting a lot more water in our enclosures because our room is very warm and our enclosures have all got mesh tops, and this facilitates that that humidity to be able to rise and dissipate out through the tops of our enclosures. So none of our enclosures are actually sealed like many of the plastic boxes that people use and things like that. Many of them are sealed. So if you was to do the same that I've just done here with this moss, you would end up with a huge spike of humidity, which would be very bad for your spider. You wouldn't want to be doing that. So bear in mind, water, how you use it, especially as a beginner, how you use that that water is going to be really down to the type of enclosure. And this is something that we've been trying to sort of push home more and more when we're looking after our spiders, because the most important thing about our care and our husbandry of our spider is really dictated by the type of enclosure that we do. And I think we need to do a video covering exactly that, because it seems to me that that is one of the things that's actually never really thought about. We get all the care guides and the care videos like we're doing now, but none of them actually really, you know, push home the fact that your enclosure will dictate how your care should go forward. So I think we'll do a video on that. I think it's something that's going to be really important and we should have a look at. So let's have a look at this girl. She is absolutely beautiful. Like I say, these they do kick up urticating hairs, and this is their way of defense. This is how they look after themselves. I mean, look at her. Just have a look at her in the box. I mean, that is just absolutely exquisite. Is it not? That is just absolutely beautiful. You cannot, you can't describe the beauty of this spider. She is absolutely phenomenal. What we're going to do, we have got to have a better look at this spider. So we are going to...
Dave, getting your wood out.
We're going to get me wood out. I'm very cheeky today. We're going to get me wood out and we are going to have a look at this spider. A bit of a closer look, because it just needs to be done. We're going to go with a big bit of wood as well, because I don't want to be too close to this thing. I know I'm going to regret this, guys. You don't realise what I put myself through for you lot. This, I'm probably going to end up now, I'm probably going to end up itching for the next week. Now,
happens when you get your wood out, Dave.
Yeah, I itch. Right then, come over here and have a look at this. as soon as I touch her, she's going to kick hairs up in my face. I just know it. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to put her down there, and we're going to try and do this without getting any hair kicking. She is quite a nervy sort of spider, so we'll see. Please be nice to me. It's a very funny thing, but I am more nervous of this sort of spider than I am some of the real feisty ones. And it's purely down to these hairs. It was many years ago, I never used to get bothered by them at all. And I used to pride myself on the fact that I never used to itch. And there she goes, she's going lovely. There we go, she's out the box. I do need to get a photograph of this girl. Look at that. Isn't she just absolutely amazing? Now, as I said, I used to literally pride myself on the fact that I never used to get worried by these hairs. But as I've got older, and I don't know why, but I've become far more susceptible. Turn around a bit.
That's better.
Is that better?
I can actually get to it now.
There we go. Now we'll leave her there like that. I'll come round here and try and get a picture as well, because she's just uber super gorgeous. Look at those eyes. Now you can see the real deep black and that russet red. I mean, it's just stunning. So I'm going to sneak in here and try and get a photograph. We all love a good thumbnail. So as we were saying, these guys are coming in from Mexico. They have quite a wide range, and within that range they vary with the habitat. So they're actually quite they're able to, what's the word, adapt. That's it, you've got it. They are able to adapt to quite striking differences. So as we said earlier on, they do like a bit of humidity. They can also take it quite dry. They live in the grasslands and things like that. But the interesting thing is that where they tend to hold out is in old rodent burrows, anywhere that they can sort of like disappear down into a dark hole. Now, once they go down, even in these dry areas, the humidity within them burrows is going to be substantially higher than up above ground. They also live in log piles, rock crevices, all these different places. Now, all of them places will hold moisture. So that tells us something. You know, this is not a spider that likes it bone dry, which is how the majority of them are still kept. They are not kept really, in my way of thinking, they're not really kept in ideal conditions when they're kept bone dry. So we can keep them in just with that little bit of moisture. I mean, this girl has been kept in that with that moisture, and look at her colouring, she just pops. Absolutely beautiful. And they make wonderful display spiders, so they're always out and about, they're always doing their thing. They very rarely hide away. So it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to play around with in the future, see if we can't breed them. Hopefully next year we'll have a bit more time and we can really concentrate on some pairings. At the moment we're a little bit strapped for time, so much of our stuff has gone on to just being maintained now, and we're just keeping it, keep everything ticking over, keep them nice. Anything that we can do to condition our girls and get them ready for next year is being done now. So as you can see, she has sat there and she's just been as good as gold.
We saw her get a little bit settled as well. She kind of relaxed.
Yeah, they do. They just settle down. You can see that change in their appearance. It's very, very cool. Now, of course, now we're going to end up having to upset her because we're going to have to put her back in a box to get her back in the enclosure.
We've got some lovely footage.
We've got some nice stuff. Hopefully we would have got some real good shots of the pink, that russety reddy pink sort of colouring. It's really, really cool. Did we manage to get right down low with them and see if we can get that?
Yeah.
Get them legs.
We can
It's
definitely
really good because
more while she's here.
we get down as low as possible and we can see, hopefully it will show up them pink legs. They really are lovely spiders.
Pop around this side to see if I'm getting what you're envisaging, my love.
Yeah, this is one of the things that the camera picks up different things to what our eyes really see. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. When we go in, we can really pick that up.
Okay.
Look at the colouring on them legs. Absolutely exquisite. Really is something else. So as we were saying, these guys are really good beginner spiders. If you're going to go and get one of these, I would seriously sort of advise about getting something that's about an inch, maybe an inch big. A little inch juvie would be the perfect start to any of these kind of spiders. Many of these, when these are actually bred and they hatch, they are tiny. They're very, very small, and they can be anywhere between 0.5 to a centimetre. Normally going to be varying towards that 0.5. They are very, very small. Now they do grow well. Keep them warm, give a little bit of moisture in the substrate, and they do grow well, and they grow quite quickly. But as with all things, when they're very, very tiny, if you're new to this sort of thing, it can be quite, heartbreaking when you lose a tiny one. If you buy one of these that's around about an inch in size, or 3/4 of an inch, something like that, you're going to get a spider that is pretty much bomb-proof and be much, much easier to look after. And it is only purely because of their size. It makes them a little bit awkward. But their actual care is very simple. Right, we're going to try and get her to move into this box, which I bet she's not really going to want to do. But yeah, you see, she's already seen the box. But don't kick, no, don't kick hairs. There we go, you see. That's it. So we're not going to...
She's being kind to you today. Oh.
Yeah, she's got a little bit freaky there. A little bit freaky. Well, let her settle down. Let her get her spot. And then what we'll do, we'll just put her down. And hopefully she'll just walk out. Don't want to put your bum in the water bowl, but there you go. There we are. Look at that. Doesn't she just look fantastic? Let's get this out of the way. Get some nice shots of her doing her thing. Is that a good angle?
It's no reflection at the moment.
Yeah.
It's better than having the absolute essential angle.
And as you can see there, she really pops against that substrate and a piece of bark. Now, one of the things that we got asked in one of our other videos of one of the other Brachypelmas was, are we not worried about this spider climbing the glass? Which is about what she's about to do. She is going to go up and climb the glass. So this is fine. This enclosure here has not got enough height for her to actually fall and damage herself. Yeah, this is one of the things, one of the concepts of the hobby that's really, really blown up out of proportion. These guys, when they fall, they're like cats. They land, generally speaking, they land on their feet and they absorb that landing within their legs like springs. Yeah. Now, we'll see in the hobby many, many times, it states in there about large bodied terrestrial spiders falling from heights and suffering with burst abdomens. Now, this is true. It can happen, but you're looking 9 times out of 10, when something like that has happened, it's been through a spider that is so grossly overfed, its abdomen is about ready to pop anyway. It's gonna, you know, it's on the point of exploding through it being so large. Now, when that becomes that large, the abdomen skin itself becomes very, very fine, and it's you know, it becomes quite delicate. A spider like this that is in perfect health with perfect weight is not going to suffer any problems in this enclosure. Even if it was to fall off of there, it's not going to make any difference to it. Now, if you look at many of our spiders, when you see a spider bolt, if you're doing a rehouse or whatever, quite often they will bolt, they will jump off the table and land on the floor. You'll hear them hit the floor, and they have literally landed like a cat. They're on their feet and they run off, you know. They're not so heavy that they're going to explode on impact, you know. So what we have to do is, what's happened is within the hobby, it's another one of them old sort of, I don't like to say an old wives' tale, but it's one of them things that has been grossly exaggerated through time, and often by people who have had no experience of it anyway. So it's one of them things that needs to be addressed, you know. This is not high, you know, it's not high in any way. So don't be fearing about your spider doing this. We have brachypelmas and other terrestrials that actually walk along the mesh tops, and they go around on the top and then they go back down again and they do all their own thing, you know. It's just one of them things. Don't get too excited and too caught up. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask this girl to go back down on the floor now. So we're just going to touch her with a paintbrush. And we're going to see if we can't walk her down. She might just let go and fall down. But she is not going to be in any danger. Yeah. Now you will often see when pairing our spiders, the males, they will literally...
Get her to walk,
oh, we can try and get her to walk, can't we?
just a little bit. So
Oh, there we go.
She looks gorgeous, doesn't she?
Yeah. And you can see how she's holding on to the glass.
See if I can get in there.
There you go. Now, if she was in any danger, she'd be slipping down the glass. These guys are very adept at manoeuvring around.
So if she was, is that why she got a little bit nervy in the box, because she couldn't get that purchase?
Well, no, in the box it's a different thing, because they're actually within a confined space, and they've just been, you know, upset by either moving or being prodded or whatever, and it just puts them in. So they're actual, it's not the box that they're upset about, it's the fact that they were in flight mode and they can't go anywhere. So they literally, that flight mode is still running around inside them. They're still wanting to escape, but they can't go anywhere, which is why it looks like they go crazy in the box.
That makes sense.
It's because their initial reaction is still to run. People will do exactly the same thing. If you make someone jump, even though after they've jumped, they realise that, well, that was daft, I had no reason to jump, quite often they're still shaking because their nerves in their body is still telling them, their adrenaline is telling them, you got to jump. So here she comes. She's going to come back out up the top here. So what you will find is when you make an enclosure like this, you will find this spider will investigate every part of it. And she will be everywhere. We've given her a hide so she can get in underneath this piece of bark. She can burrow down if she wants. You'll find the majority of these brackies, once they're adult, they will spend most of their time outside doing their thing. A fabulous looking spider. Now, in terms of food, we're looking at giving this dubia roaches, red runners, large crickets. It will take locusts. These are not fussy spiders. They will eat just about anything. Would you like me to turn that? So they will literally take on just about anything. The only thing I would suggest is when you're keeping these is look at that humidity. You know, give them a little bit of humidity. They really will appreciate it.
Dry bed.
Yeah. Right. Well, that is our Brachypelma Klaasi.
And she is very classy.
She is a very, very classy spider. That is one spider that 100% lives up to its name. She's a classy girl. Very, very nice. Right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope we've sort of like touched on a few of the things that I personally think are a little bit dated. I think we need to move on in time and start rearranging the way we look at these so-called dry arid spiders. Right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.